Before we get rolling, quick question for you watching. Do you think people should be allowed to represent themselves in court, or should every courtroom have mandatory legal counsel to avoid exactly what you're about to witness? Drop your take in the comments. This one's a roller coaster.
All right, Mr. Jaffe. All right, this is the, are you here on Van Maren versus Davidson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Or next.
Jasmine Davidson is my client, Your
Or
Honor.
next. What's that? So
Yes,
I
Your
see
Honor.
Miss Davidson's here. And do I see Edward Van Maren?
Present in the courtroom, Your Honor.
All right, Edward Van Maren is present in the courtroom. So I have a motion for, sir, if you want to come on up, you can have a seat at this table. Oh, actually, you're going to be at that table over there, okay? All right, so I have a motion up for summary disposition. I've reviewed the motion. I've reviewed all of the documents that were submitted to the court. And is there anything that I need to be aware of?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, excuse me.
Wait, one sec.
Excuse me.
One sec. Can I get your appearance, sir? Can you tell me your name?
Edward Van Maren.
Okay, you can have a seat. Mr. Jaffe, give me your name.
Your Honor, good morning. Attorney Brent Jaffe on behalf of Jasmine Davidson. Your Honor, if I could address the court with regards to the motion that I filed, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's his motion for summary disposition. So Mr. Jaffe's gonna go first, and then I'm gonna hear your response, okay? All right, go ahead, Mr. Jaffe.
Thank you, Your Honor. The motion was filed properly served on this individual. Sorry, it was his poor decision to not retain a lawyer. He's not a lawyer and he has no idea what he's doing. That being said, he never filed a response, Your Honor. This is well over a month ago. And not only did he not file a response, Your Honor, but I just want to state for the record, and I have verification, but I don't need to get into it. This might be one of the most disrespectful people I've ever encountered in my.
What the judge just asked here is crucial. She wants to know if there's anything new or relevant before she rules. Courts move on facts, not feelings, and this is the moment where the entire lawsuit's fate could shift.
I stated to
All right, I don't want any personal attacks. Let's just get to the meat of the case. What is your motion based on? And just get to that. You guys don't have to like each other.
Failure to state a claim, Your Honor. This individual has never presented an iota of evidence to substantiate any claim that he's ever made, but rather this lawsuit was just an attempt for him to defame and harass my client. But again, Your Honor, no response. And respectfully, Your Honor, I would ask that this court hold this person to the same standard that an attorney would be held to. I would ask that my motion be granted accordingly, in this case be dismissed.
Sir, do you have a response?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. First and foremost, I was under the impression that defense never bothered to file an answer to this case to begin with. Moreover, as defense is trying to claim, my attorney was never present during the said case, the previous custody case between defendant and myself. I have been.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask some questions. The parties were you married or dating?
Dating.
All right, so how long when did you start dating?
We were together 5 years.
When did you start dating?
2018.
When did you split up?
22.
Okay, so you split up in 22. Your allegation is that this,
If I may, Your Honor, we started in 17, not 18. Our daughter.
Okay. Okay. So basically the allegation is that a bunch of these miniature charges were made. At the time, were you two these charges for like $3, $2, $1? I don't know if these are all like phone games.
That's exactly what it was.
Okay, it looks like phone games to me. So these were all charged at the time the two of you were you living together?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you were living together, you were cohabitating.
Yes, Your
Who
Honor.
was working?
I was.
Okay, and Miss Davidson, did you have an infant at that time?
Yes.
Listen closely, the lawyer is setting the stage for summary dismissal by arguing the plaintiff didn't file a required response. In civil court, missing paperwork can kill your entire case faster than a bad argument ever could.
Okay, so there's a minor child. So is it a baby at this time or a young kid? I mean, there's no year on, I had to see like 1106, 1217, 320. It didn't tell me the year these charges were made. Like, I can't tell from looking at the documents that were submitted when they were made. It just says year, or it says month and day.
That is fair, Your Honor, and I do have a stack of papers more than an inch thick of 4 years of bank records. I would be more than happy to bring to.
Were you guys living together at that
Yes, Your
time?
Honor.
Okay,
It
so
also showed that she emptied my checking account while I was providing for both her and a minor child. One of those instances occurred while I was at a grocery store with a shopping cart full of stuff, and she still emptied my checking account.
all right, but there's no claim for that in here. I mean, I just see the claim is that I don't need to call them micro transactions,
Exactly what they are.
but they're like $1.05, $1.05, $4.69, 91 cents, $1.05.
Several hundred in total.
These are, well, what is you made a claim for 6,500.
Yes,
What is-
Your Honor, and if I may also point out that during the custody agreement, when we were ordered by the court week on, week off custody on a dozen separate occasions, I made verbal agreement, which I'll quote Pennzoil v. Texaco, and that verbal agreements are enforceable. I made a verbal agreement with defendant to take child on defendant's court-ordered scheduled week so that she could go out with friends in exchange for her to do the same on my week, and I was robbed of that a dozen times on my weeks.
Okay, pause. 5 years together, a breakup, and now thousands in disputed transactions. Do you think personal relationships should ever be settled in court like business contracts? Or is that crossing the line? I want to know.
So for the sake of argument,
This is your guys' kid.
yes.
I'm not a family law court. I mean, none of that is important to me. I have $6,500 of claim damages for a bunch of micro transactions that equal hundreds of dollars. And those transactions all occurred during the course of your cohabitation while you were the primary caregiver.
Yeah, Your Honor, that
Wow.
is correct, Your Honor. That is correct, Your Honor. And again, just to reemphasize that, again, not an iota of information or supporting documents or would be Texaco, whatever the legal scholar is quoting, has ever been presented to me, nor has this person ever contacted me. Again, he was rightfully served, Your Honor.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, if they're talking about making agreements outside of their parenting time order and one party's honoring them and the other party isn't, I am a district court judge. I do not do family law. I am not going to overstep my bounds and get involved in that. And certainly, I'm going to tell you my honest thoughts. I did family law for a long time. And if you two can't figure out how to get along on some level, you're going to screw your kid up. I'm just telling you, that's how it is. That's what I see here. And I see it all the time. And it's really disturbing to me because if you two talk poorly about each other, get mad at each other, in front of the child, can't communicate with each other, you are messing a kid up. You are. And I mean, and that's a family law matter. It's not in front of me, but
And Your Honor, I did represent.
I'm very sad to see it over and over and over again. Sir, do you have any other documentation that you want me to look at?
Your Honor, if I could actually go back to the motion in which defense made an effort to claim that my counsel never appeared,
Why do I care?
because he's trying to have my case thrown out on multiple grounds. He's presenting
File
No,
a
he's saying, no. Listen, he is trying to get your case thrown out by saying there's no relief and there's no claim, that there's no legal basis for your claim.
So,
Is that you failed to state a claim on which relief can be granted. So I keep asking you, what matters to me is what documentation do you have that she owes you $6,500?
Your Honor, would a couple write a contract for who's going to pick up children from school any given day of the week? No, most couples are not. So in the same sense, if a couple is together and one party owes the other money, are they going to write a contract
Yeah, the answer is
No, and when one of the so are you charging her for food she ate while she was the primary caregiver for your child and you were at work? Is she have to pay you back for the food she ate?
I'm asking.
I'm asking you a question, and guess what? I got the robe, sir. So I'm asking you a question. Does she owe you money for food, shelter, clothing that you paid for her while she was the primary caregiver for your child?
Your Honor, she does owe me for food, clothing, and shelter. During the 10-month span that I was under false pretenses, we were going to be a family.
This moment hits hard. Whatever the adults are fighting over, the kid is the one growing up in the middle of it. Courts see this dynamic constantly, and it's why judges get visibly frustrated. They know how this plays out long term.
Okay, so no. All right, listen. The request for relief in this case was the maximum that was allowed in district court in small claims. It's since been removed, but the amount claimed was $6,500, and the allegations were credit fraud, defrauding by means of solicitation of prostitution, possession of stolen property, promissory fraud, and emotional distress. Okay.
I do have several hundred hours of audio recordings held within my own home, as the Exhibit A submitted by the defense shows that the defendant was made aware that everything in my home was being recorded.
Your Honor, may I address the court briefly, Your Honor?
Very brief.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. As a practical matter, I represented my client also in the custody matter for like over the period of like almost a year. And respectfully, Your Honor, I'm not sure why this plaintiff feels he has a platform to do that. Your Honor, again, there's no relief, nothing's been substantiated, Your Honor, and they actually took this serious, which I don't think he is. And again, I think it's a pure harassment technique, and he would have hired a lawyer, because that's why people pay a lot of money to go to law school.
All right. I mean, listen, Mr. Jaffe, we don't have to get in the mud, though. Like, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any claim that relief could be granted on. I mean, all of these, when you have two people and look at, I'm going to just use common sense and reason. When you have two people who are cohabitating with a minor child, an infant, or a very young child. What year was the child born in? 2018?
February 2018.
So we're talking about a kid who's not school age,
Correct.
right?
She's 5 now.
She's 5 now. But all of these purchases, all of these, what I'm calling microtransactions, all occurred while the two of you were in a relationship. While the two of you were in a relationship, while she was the primary caregiver. And there are agreements that are made. I mean, you can look at it with common sense and reason. Look at what I'm doing. And we're talking like, look, she likes phone games a little too much. I'll give you that, but you can't come a year and some after the parties split up and claim $6,500 in an action because of transactions that occurred. She clearly had access to money. Did your client go to the grocery store, Mr. Jaffe?
Of course, for the family, of course.
At the time, no, Your Honor, she did not. She did not.
Your Honor, absolutely. Again, Your Honor,
Wait, I have a court recorder. Do not make her suffer. She cannot type both of you at the same time. Okay, so you're telling me, Mr. Van Maren, that she did not ever have access to any bank account?
She had unlawful access to mine when she saved my credit information in her phone without my permission.
Okay. Wait. So the whole time you were together.
My grandfather took me shopping.
So she was never allowed to go to the store or make any purchases.
She went with me.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. When co-parenting becomes a scoreboard, nobody wins. Whether you agree with him or not, the court only cares about what can be proven, not what feels unfair.
So she had no access to money. It's your statement. And this is what you're telling me. She had no access to any money at all while she was staying home with this minor child.
She couldn't be trusted with money, obviously.
Okay. All right. I find that there is absolutely the plaintiff has failed to state a claim on which relief can be granted. We're talking about microtransactions that occurred during the relationship between the parties where they resided together and had a minor child, and Ms. Davidson was the primary caregiver for said minor child.
Your Honor,
Obviously, sir. You have, if you want to file an appeal, sir, you are certainly entitled to that relief. That is my judgment, Mr. Jaffe. Your motion's granted.
This right here is the legal knockout punch: failure to state a claim. It means even if everything the plaintiff alleges is true, the law still can't give him what he's asking for. That's courtroom checkmate.
All right, to the allegation you failed to appear for your appointment with the probation officer scheduled at 8 a.m. on December 18th, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To the allegation you failed to attend individual therapy at the guidance center as scheduled on 12/12, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And then we're doing and to the allegation you failed to attend your individual therapy on 12/13, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
All right. All right, I'm going to accept the 2 guilty pleas as knowing and voluntarily given. All right, so I saw you, Abigail, on the 10th. And on the 10th, I let you turn yourself in for a day next door. I let you turn yourself in because I care more about your job than you do. So then, the day after that, I do this on Tuesday. You miss your guidance, your therapy appointment on Thursday, and then you miss your appointment with Kara yesterday. And it's like I don't know what you were thinking. Abigail, we've had trouble with you since you came in. It's not use violations. Oh, are you shocked by this? Are you surprised? Well, you should not be. You have consistently, if I count your violations, like I know that we're on number 7, but if you look at them, number 7's 3. Number 6 was 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I mean, it's like Kara's bunching them because it makes sense when you have that many violations in a short period of time. But you're consistently, you think this is Abigail's treatment court, and it's not. Yes, you do. It's a 23rd District Court's treatment court program, and you're not special. You're not special in this program. Everyone else has to show up, and they have to do what they have to do to survive, but not Abigail. Abigail can cancel her appointments as she sees fit. She can miss things, and it's a consistent pattern. And the response that we always get from you is like, well, I have a job. Well, your recovery is more important than your job. Because if you're sitting in Wayne County Jail, quite frankly, Abigail, on this, it should have been charged as a 3rd, and you should have a felony right now. Because let's talk about your record for a minute. You've had 3 drunk drivings in how long?
Within a couple years.
Right? What was your first one?
February of 2023.
Okay. When was your second one?
December last year.
Of 23?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. When was your 3rd?
April.
April of 24. 3 drunk drivings in a year? Less than a year? Am I bad at math?
Just over a year.
Just over a year. 3 drunk drivings. How old are you?
23.
Your last drunk driving, Abigail, you drove the wrong way on which freeway? Which one?
75.
75. We are miles out of Detroit. One of the busiest freeways in the state of Michigan, and one of the busiest areas in the state of Michigan. And you drove the wrong way on the freeway. That's how drunk you were.
I understand, Your Honor.
Okay, well, we're going over it because I don't think you do. I genuinely do not think you understand. And then you wouldn't stop for the cops. And a cop had to tap your car to get you to stop and get you from killing someone else or killing yourself at 23 years old. Your 3rd one in just over a year. And you got a gift. One, you got your life. You're not dead. You're not in prison for killing someone else, which is a miracle, going the wrong way on one of the busiest freeways, probably in the country. We're the Motor City, and you're driving the wrong way on one of the busiest freeways outside of Detroit. Then you get the benefit somehow of, instead of having a felony, you get the benefit of getting a misdemeanor for this. And in exchange, you have to do a treatment court program. That's the thing.
And there it is, the emotional slip. He wants reimbursement for food, clothing, and shelter because the relationship didn't work out. But judges don't handle heartbreak refunds, should they? Or would that open the wildest courtroom chaos ever? Let me know.
You should have been doing prison time. You should have been. Or at least significant jail time. And you were given a gift and you have squandered it. I have watched you since you come into this program. You think you're better than the other women in the program. It's clear to me. You think that, well, I'm going to start sponsoring someone, and you have all this time for all of these other activities. You don't have time to show up and do the things you have to do to stay out of jail. And I've had it. You're about to get the wake-up call of your life, Abigail. I'm talking. I'm about to give you the wake-up call of your life, okay? Because have you ever been to Wayne County Jail?
No.
Okay, you're about to go in just about 3 minutes. But let me tell you something. I have been to Wayne County Jail. I've been to Wayne County Jail a lot. I was there when I was a defense attorney, and I was there when I was a prosecutor. And it is not a nice place. It is not a pleasant place. And me giving you a day next door is not teaching you anything. I need you to understand you are looking at months in jail. Months. And quite frankly, even at their new facility, probably one of the grossest jails I've ever been in. And with people who are sitting in jail, awaiting trial or sentencing on pretty significant crimes. And you'll probably think you're better than them. And you're not, Abigail, because that's where you should be. So you are getting the wake-up call of your life. You're going to sit down in the Wayne County Jail. What's your rec?
3 days.
5 days. You're doing 5 days in the Wayne County Jail. You got nothing else to do? Forget your job, forget everything else, Abigail. I want you to understand this. I want you to really reflect on the next 5 days. I want you to sit there and think, is that the life you want? Or do you want to comply? I'm talking. You can either comply with this program and get it together, or you can go do your 90. It makes no difference to me. I prefer you be here. I prefer you get the help you need, because whether you realize it or not, you have a problem and you belong in this program more than a lot of the other women that are here. Because what you have done on these 3 offenses is abysmal. It's terrifying. You're doing your 5 days.